threw the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, because the Justice Minister, who was aware, it appears, that these wiretaps had been put on Nicolas Sarkozy's telephone conversations with his lawyer, she denied everything. She said, I didn't know anything about this. I only found out when Le Monde came out with the story last week, except the Canard Enchaîné, who's, I think we have the front page of it here.
The Prime Minister then went and dropped her in it, so
That's
to speak,
right, because
didn't
he knew that the Canard Enchaîné had revealed that the Justice Minister and himself were aware of this for about 15 days beforehand. So he went on television and he said, look, OK, we were aware of this. What Christiane Taubira said on the Monday Evening News essentially is incorrect. Very embarrassing stuff indeed. And Nicolas Sarkozy is probably laughing all the way to court, because this is a court case, and he is now basically off the hook to an extent, because the media is more focused on the government's.
Right. I mean, it does seem to have been
lies.
turned around, and now Taubira is the one facing calls to resign. She insists she's done nothing wrong, though. Some in the Socialist Party are saying that the centre-right party, the UMP, Sarkozy's party, is manipulating the press to make him look more favourable. That's
right, because let's remember how this was being cast in the media. If you go back to last Friday or Saturday, this is the front page, if we can show it, of Libération. They were calling Nicolas Sarkozy the Godfather. Can we pull that up? The front page of Libération. They were calling Nicolas Sarkozy essentially a godfather type figure, a gangster who was using his influence in government to get people's,
perhaps,
to get people, plum jobs essentially. And so that was all pretty bad coverage for Nicolas Sarkozy. Now, if we can take a look at the computer, we can show you how it's being turned around. You have François Hollande with a set of headsets on, an homme à l'écoute, it says at the bottom of that particular affiche. If we can, can we get rid of the bar on the bottom? There you go. A man who is a man who listens. Essentially,
similar to the memes we were seeing with Barack Obama following the NSA scandal.
That's right.
So now, now the socialists are being accused of spying, but not on everybody, just on Nicolas Sarkozy, the former president. And this, of course, comes amid a lot of fevered speculation that the former French president wants to stage a political comeback.
That's right. And you see, this was very damaging information that this judicial investigation had uncovered. Basically, it seems that Nicolas Sarkozy allegedly was trying to influence a Supreme Court judge, get information from the Supreme Court judge in return for a job. So Libération, for example, was casting this as exactly the sort of shenanigans and the undermining of state institutions that marked Sarkozy's presidency. All very damaging stuff, and now that has been turned around. Now, it's been dubbed by some the Pasqua theorem, right? This is Jean-Jacques Urvoas, a Socialist Party UMP. Now, Pasqua used to be Interior Minister, and he once said, if you're embroiled in a scandal, what you need to do is find a scandal within the scandal. And if necessary, a scandal within the scandal within the scandal. Deflect it until nobody understands what is going on anymore.
I think we're getting to that point.
That's right. So Jean-Jacques Urvoas is saying, chapeau to the UMP party. What you have done in the last... this is Charles Pasqua talking to Nicolas Sarkozy, a man who knew a lot of scandal in his time and knew how to deflect them. And so essentially, a lot of people are saying that this is just a massive smokescreen. So you have images such as this.
It remains to be seen where the public sympathy lies at this stage, doesn't it? Because Nicolas Sarkozy is embroiled in several things at the moment. I mean, let's not forget he was having his phone tapped because he is under investigation.
That's right. But as you said, let's not forget. And the whole point is that the UMP has created this massive smokescreen, which is deflecting the attention, which is causing some to forget that the whole reason we're talking about this is that it appears that there were allegations of corruption and an attempt to what would you say, manipulate a Supreme Court judge on the part of Nicolas Sarkozy.
This is the Bettencourt scandal, isn't it? This is allegations that Sarkozy took illegal campaign funding from France's richest woman.
That's right. Well, that's another scandal again. I mean, there are a lot of these scandals that Nicolas Sarkozy yet has to resolve if he's to have a clear run at making a political comeback.
Because he does have to put them all to bed before he can even think about making a comeback.
That's right. Even though he is still the favourite for now.
Yes. Well, the plot thickens further, though. It's emerged that while Sarkozy was having these conversations with his lawyer on his phone, he was using a false name and a false telephone number.
That's right. It has a lot of people amused. Essentially, the judicial
But it didn't work because they were listening anyway.
That's right. They were listening anyway. So what he had done is he had assumed this alias, Paul Bismuth. So a proper telephone contract and everything under the name of Paul Bismuth, who is a real person, in fact. He was Thierry Herzog. That's Nicolas Sarkozy's lawyer. he was his classmate many, many years ago. In any case, the media, of course, contacted Mr. Bismuth straight away to say, well, what do you think about your name and your identity being usurped and used by Nicolas Sarkozy in order to get around possible wiretapping, which he didn't manage to do. In any case, Mr. Bismuth has said that he isn't now, in fact, going to sue, because there was speculation in the media today that he was going to sue Nicolas Sarkozy for his identity being usurped. Do you want to know what the media are doing? Slate.fr, they've created a poll Bismuthator, right? Essentially, it's helping you to decide on an alias if you want to also generate.
Oh, you've already made your own.
Well, I put my own name in, and it's not, in fact. You have to determine whether you're a man or a woman, and they're Abel Aluminium. That's what Slate.fr.
Aluminium, Mr. Aluminium.
It's a pretty rubbish game, but I think they were inspired by Slate.com's Travolta fire name. Do you remember this?
No,
John Travolta, essentially at the Oscars, called Idina Menzel Adele Dazeem. He completely messed her name up when he was announcing the act. So Slate.com invented this thing called Travolta Your Name, which essentially means,
mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. So they seem to be doing a French politics equivalent on
you do have nerves of steel, James, so perhaps that's where it comes from. All right. Well, I hope that's cleared everything up for you. A lot of confusing scandals
Still
in France
confusing.
at the moment. Perhaps not. All right, James. Thank you very
Thanks,
much
Laura.
indeed. Well, time now for our focus report, and it comes to us today from South Sudan, the world's youngest